Garth, congratulations on Sing.
Thank you.
It's a cartoon, or can we call it a cartoon?
You can call it what you like. You can call it a
allowed to
movie, a cartoon.
Yeah.
I don't call it a cartoon, only because I just tried to make this like a movie.
Yeah.
Like a regular film.
That's why I'm asking, because what does a director of an animation
Oh, I
do?
personally could just call it a film. Yeah. And it just happens to be animated. That was the process we used to make, tell the story. Because I always think of cartoons as, Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
The short,
Exactly.
the short burst of genius that was, Chuck and all those guys. But no, yeah, we set out to make a film.
Yeah.
And
But how different is it to directing people?
Directing, I was totally different. I was so naive when I started this thing. I thought, I can do animation. Sure, because we flirted with animation through music videos and commercials, and even the early parts of both our films, Hitchhiker's Guide and Son of Rambow, had elements of animation within them. So I thought, I know how this works, and I'd made animated films at art school, not very good ones, but they were a start. But the process is totally different. It's like working on a giant a car production line. Mm-hmm. So there are all these departments waiting for the department before them to finish so they can get going on their bit, and the whole thing is moving constantly, so you're trying to keep up, you're trying to make the story work at the same time as feed this production line.
But what I never get is that when you're directing people and there's room for improv, I presume Son of Rambow, you could, it was almost about that, because you had films within films there. You had kids who were making films, and things could go wrong, and you would put them in and stuff, and you've got people, and you can turn up and you say, well, let's do something different. But with an animation, presumably you've got to have it all absolutely worked out.
Well, here's the thing: you do still go through that sort of a version of that process, because you don't just start animating. What I was doing was working on the script for a long time, and then as that got to a point where we were feeling good about it, we moved to the next phase, which was storyboarding. But storyboarding in a more elaborate way, so it's like an animatic. So what you end up doing is making several rough versions of your movie in sort of like a crude, drawn way. I say crude. The artists doing it were flipping amazing, but compared to the final animation, it is. So you're watching the whole film with rough voices, rough sound effects, music, the lot, and you can get a sense of whether it's working or not. And you keep reworking that and reworking that
so
and reworking
instead of having
that.
read-throughs of the script with a cast, you sort of
you do as much as you can before you get the cast and the animators on board, and you tear it to pieces and you try and test its metal and get it working, and then you start recording the actors.
Yeah.
And then and then you re-edit that, so that's working, and then you start, when it's all working in that respect, you launch the animation team, and that's like launching actors as well.
Right,
that's like,
then you get them in.
Yeah,
rooms.
exactly. Yeah.
How long were you polishing this script?
Well, I can tell you between the first time I met the boss of the studio to talk about this, and now talking to you, it's about 5 years.
Yeah.
Which is insane. I didn't know it was going to take 5 years, and apparently I've met a lot of the other directors of animated films, like the guys that made, Moana and people like that. They're all like, oh yeah, it's been about 5 years. So actually, for most of them, it's been more.
Yeah.
So I've sort of, fast-tracked this thing. But no, it was probably about 18 months of just working on those storyboards and the story whilst developing all the visual stuff.
Yeah.
So it was all slowly being built. When I say built, on a computer, but it virtually exists. Characters for, you name it, theatres in this case. Whole entire theatres exist in this sort of virtual reality. So while that's going on, we're honing the story and then start recording the voices and the music. Yeah.
And you had to move to Paris to do it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because even though the Illumination Entertainment is an American company, they're based in Santa Monica in Los Angeles. Their animation studios are right next to the Eiffel Tower. There's this old multi-story car park that's sort of been slowly taken over by Illumination's animation team, and there's 900 people there now, just shy of 900 people, all working furiously on these movies. And I moved there about 4 years ago to start.
And why did you feel you had to, or did Illumination tell you had to?
Oh no, there was no get to Paris. It was just, I was only working on it as a script at the beginning, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be directing it or not. I was just writing it as you would write for anyone. But I fell in love with it and didn't want anyone else to touch it. and B, they said, would you like to direct it? And I literally didn't waste a breath. I was like, yep, we're coming. I didn't realise, I was very naive, how big a deal it was to move my family. We have 4 children out of all their schools to another country where they didn't speak the language. That was slightly naive on my part. It was quite
moving 4 children for a walk on Hampstead Heath is quite
it was mobilising the troops there. It was a big deal, and bless them, they rose to the challenge. It was a little bit bumpy at the start.
How old are they? What were they?
Well, they were at the time. Well, one of them, we moved on his 3rd birthday. We literally were on the train on his birthday. He was going from 2 to 3. So at the time, I can't remember. But now they are like, what are they now? 13, 11, 9 and 6.
All fluent in French now?
So 3 of the 4 are pretty much bilingual. My wife is too. And I'm rubbish. And I'm not just saying that because I'm all like secretly I'm good and I'm trying to be humble. No, I'm genuinely rubbish. And that is because I had to hit the ground running from day one. And everyone at the studio speaks embarrassingly good English.
So you could get.
I never had that need. Whereas my wife, she's a fashion designer, she works at a French fashion label there. You know, she has to speak French all day long, and so do most of the kids.
She didn't work for a French label before she.
No, in fact, she'd quit her job when we started having this sort of army of children, and she'd been designing her own stuff before then, and then she went back to it. Once we got to Paris, in fact, she was the inspiration behind one of the characters. One of the characters in the film is Rosita, who's a pig, played by Reese Witherspoon. And my wife wasn't thrilled when I said, "Oh, I think I'm gonna do something sort of about our story here with you and the thing, and it's going to be a pig." She was not like, she's like, "Does it have to be a pig?
Yeah.
Like, could it be a snow leopard or something, you know, like a beautiful
thing with lashes.
Yeah. And I was like, no, seriously, it'd be great.
She's a beautiful pig.
She's a beautiful pig, and I mean, I didn't think of that when I didn't think of the whole connotation of pigs, you know, having this reputation. I've just always loved them.
Yeah. Do you think pigs get a bad rap?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you see someone like Babe, though, you can't help but love pigs. Have you seen? You must have seen Babe. I think it's a perfect film, Babe, and especially that ending. That that'll do, pig. That's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
But it really is a very emotional ending. I don't know why I got into Babe. Oh yeah, pigs. That's it. Yeah. But yeah, so we ended up.
So she didn't mind?
No, and she's only just recently seen the film finished, because I never show it to anyone I know until it's totally done, and she loved it. So I feel it worked out.
She loved the pig.
She loved the pig especially. Yeah, she was thrilled with that. Yeah.
Dancing in the supermarket.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the kind of thing my wife would actually do.
So she's managed to kind of forge a really, well, it sounds like a good life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm skipping all of the massive upheaval. Like, it's not easy moving at the best of times, and coming to a new place where you don't know anyone, and most people see, people in our neighbourhood would see our children and just look at and scowl, and they would tell my wife off for having, children that were making noise on the bus. I mean, we got the full French attitude.
Where are you about to come out?
We were living near the studios, which is in the 7th arrondissement, which is not shabby.
No, it's very smart.
Jesus Christ, no, it's not shabby.
It's diplomatic, isn't it? The Invalides, isn't that?
That's right, exactly there. Yeah, but that's because the studios are up the road, and we had to live close to that and close to the schools. So we're in this area, and it's all fancy pants compared to Stoke Newington, where I was been living before that. But yeah, it's quite a lot of snootiness. Anyway, you get over all that stuff, and also just trying to go back to work for my wife was 18 months of solid, emotional roller coaster, and mainly rejection.
Yeah.
It was only towards the end of that 18-month period where she was at the point of thinking, maybe I should give up, maybe this is never going to work. That then some.
So is she with a good house now? Is it?
Yeah, it's Sonia Riquiel.
Oh, yes, nice.
Yeah, she's designing for them.
Nice.
Yeah,
got a jumper of theirs.
There you go. Well, the jumpers were how it all started. The original designer, Sonia, that's how she began making jumpers for herself and her friends, right. And then bingo.
Yeah.
Off she went.
I want another one, actually. That's what I might get one for my birthday.
We'll sort you out, Jason.
I've grown a little bit.
You got round the middle? Really?
They're quite tight, the Sonia Riquels, I think.
I don't have any of their jumpers. My wife does. I just have really boring stuff. Yeah.
You need a good debobulator.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of fascinated with people that can do that move. And then
nobody's prepped for it. The fact is, you can do it, but be prepared.
Could you not have stayed here and commuted?
No, I maybe he could have done, but as a family, we need to be together. Yeah. That sounds more corny than I'm going for, but we function as a gang, and so we blend everything, and the closer we are together, the better. And that's why I don't enjoy flying away and all that stuff. I hate it, absolutely hate it.
So the animation part, I mean, the fact that they're in, I think, mainly French animators.
Yeah. So actually, the great thing about being there in Paris means that you can work with. It's a sort of a magnet for talent across Europe. There are Germans, French, obviously loads, Italian, Spanish. There's people from Belgium, Finland, everywhere. It's rather nice.
And some of them are animators, some are compositors, some are...
Exactly. Designing fur algorithms, clothing animators. Because, of course, I learned things like the fact that when an animator animates a character in a scene, they don't animate the clothes as well. That would be that goes to another department. Right. I was talking about this being like a car production line. Once that shot's approved in terms of animation, all the movement and the expression's great, off it goes to clothing, and they start moving the sweater or the shirt around and giving it its authentic folds. If you've got a scarf, it's got a whisk, it's got a move. So all that sort of stuff. There's departments for everything.
Yeah. And you, as a director, you wander around with, like, I guess, many clipboards.
I don't have any clipboards.
You need a
No,
clipboard.
I've normally got a massive cup of tea that is I've sort of a cliche in France of the English tea drinking idiot. Yeah. But I don't care.
You take your own tea. You can't have that Lipton yellow.
No, that Lipton stuff. I mean, they call that tea. It's disgusting. Before I did all this stuff, I used to do all those PG Tips adverts. We were the ones that made that monkey.
You were the monkey?
I'm the monkey guy. So, loyal to the brand. I drink copious amounts of PG Tips still. But yeah, you run around going from department to department. And as the film gets closer to crunch time, you're at 5-minute intervals, going from checking this to checking that.
And is it scheduled? I mean, do you say, so Garth, you've got your PA, I assume you get a PA.
No, there's no PA.
You need a PA?
No, we don't have, it's a no-frills production in Paris. There's no PAs, there's no assistants, there's no one coming in and saying, hey, cappuccino, Mr. Jen. No, I bought our coffee machine, and I buy all the coffee that my little editorial department drinks. So it's fairly. It's like being at art school.
Yeah,
like everything we need is there. Everything that's all the money is on the screen, but the place itself is very. I'm doing it a disservice because I absolutely love it. We all love working there.
I mean, you did used to run your movie and production video coming out of a barge.
That's true. You came to meet me on the barge, didn't you? Yeah, Nick and I had this lovely place. Hammer and Tongs Productions was based on a barge in the Regent's Canal for a good part, I reckon about 10 years at least. And this is the opposite to that.
Regent's Canal, I mean, it was not the people think.
It wasn't the Regent's. No, it wasn't the zoo side. Yeah. It was the Islington side.
And it's a lot smarter now than it was because I used to live there.
That's right. You were up the road. You were in one of those fancy pants flats, weren't you?
I miss it now.
Do you?
Yeah. I've got a lovely house, but I did used to love that.
That was a great little part of the world, wasn't it?
And now it's all swans going past.
Yeah.
It's been cleaned.
Oh, they've cleaned it?
Oh, it looks great.
I dread to think what they found at the bottom of that thing. Seriously. The stuff we used to see going on there at night wasn't say very Crime Watch.
Yeah, exactly. It was a lot better. Do you remember there was a body found in a suitcase? Do you remember?
In a suitcase?
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Yeah. That's why I'm a little bit disturbed by the idea that they cleaned it up, only because of what they may have found down there. Be careful what you look for. Yeah.
So now you swap that for the Seine, presumably.
I'm not far from it. Yeah, it sounds more romantic than it really is, but let's go with that.
Because a lot of people do live on barges on the Seine. There's a kind of community.
There is further down. Which way is it? East or west? Both directions. Yeah, especially west. There's a bunch. They're huge.
Yeah.
I mean, forget our barge. These are like HMS Belfast, but with like fancy, Eames chairs and stuff.
So I thought in my head when you said you'd gone to Paris, I thought, he's
on the river
barge.
again. He's obsessed. Barge, He's a boat obsessed idiot. No, we're just in a flat. Yeah.
So are you were there presumably for Brexit as well?
Yeah, that was embarrassing when 900 people the next day literally laughing at me going, oh, Brexit. Hey, Brexit's here. Yeah. That was super embarrassing. Especially as Illumination is like the classic European company. It is the melting pot of there's me, there's Brits, Americans, French, everyone is there.
And in fact, the minions speak kind of Esperanto, don't they?
I don't know what the hell it is. It's the director Pierre Coffin who does the voices for that.
Is he your boss?
No, he's one of the directors on the other movies. The boss is Chris Meledandri. He doesn't do any of the voices, but he just runs the show. But Pierre's great. He did the voice for the French version of. He did one of the voices for one of our characters, Miss Crawley, who's an elderly female lizard in the film.
You do?
I do the voice for her in English, and Pierre Coffin does the voice in French. Yeah, it was a little bit of fun we had with that.
Yeah, that's nice. And who else does it in the French one? Because they always get quite good people, don't they?
Patrick Bruel is Buster Moon. And now I'm going to embarrassingly forget the names of all of them, even though I was with them just 2 nights ago for the French premiere, and it was phenomenal. And they're all so lovely. I've literally forgotten everyone's name. They're all great. All I know is that whenever any one of them came up on stage, the place went nuts. Right. So I'm like, okay.
They're known.
Yeah, I know 2 of them were recent winners of one of those like an X Factor.
French Idol.
Yeah, and they actually sang at the end. They were brilliant. But Christ, Elodie Sanchez. Anyway,
okay. I shall check them out. But I presume you don't direct them.
No, I don't. At that point, I've literally run out of steam, and people are scraping me off the floor. So I leave it in the capable hands of the most brilliant teams, who are like the crack commando unit of. Taking these movies and finding the right talent and then directing them to get the tone right. And it was lovely watching it in French, and I can understand more than I can say, and feeling the audience respond in the way that you want to.
And they did the same songs, or there's some French songs?
The songs stayed in English because we have over 65 different pieces of music in this film. There was no way we were going to record. It was fine if you're going to do Frozen, you can do 6 songs. I don't know how many songs it is, but you can do that in different languages. It's manageable. 65 is just asking for trouble, isn't it?
Excuse me, when they're
Italian, French,
when they're
Chinese.
Like the Wind, they probably hits in. They're always hits in English in those countries anyway.
Well, this is the good thing, that the universality of music hopefully transcends any language barriers. That sounded quite eloquent. I like that.
Good.
Wow, I've never. Put it that way.
way.
Thank God we're recording this. Cut that out and send that to me. It's going to be.
Almost like it's something that a French person might say.
It's true.
Where
it's something I've absorbed their brilliant eloquence for a moment there, and we're now going to lose it, and it's all going to come out as
late night French chat shows talking about books.
Those are weird. Those TV shows they have. It's like every show in France is like, if it was you and me talking right now, we'd be talking. The camera would be there. And there'd be like loads of people back here laughing at this and cheering, and it's so weird. Every show's like that, even serious ones.
And they're talking. What do you mean? This isn't a serious show? What are we, chopped liver?
No, you're not chopped liver, man. This is serious. But what I mean is, they'll talk about stuff, but then feel it like everything feels like a game show. Like, it doesn't matter. We could be saying, it's a terrible shame this Donald Trump man is ruining the planet, and there'd all a bunch of people kind of hanging out behind. Like, if you did that to Question Time, you'd really bring it down a notch. Yeah. You'd be really.
Come back and that's your new gig.
Also, it really wouldn't work. The whole turning around thing wouldn't work. Sorry, man.
So culturally, when Brexit happened, were you? Was there
baffled by it? I mean, I didn't understand why we were being asked to. This is just me. I am like the man who doesn't know how. I would know that in principle, it's a good idea to try and work together with people as opposed to against them. And I know that. That it was kind of going okay, except for a few things. The trouble is that I don't understand how this stuff works. And I don't know a single person who knows how this stuff works. So getting angry with each other about it seemed ridiculous. It's like, oh, what? We're all experts now. Like, why did you ask us? We have no idea.
And you've just been working with, sounds like half of Europe.
Yeah. And even Europe's like, we don't know the nitty-gritty of trade deals. Like, we don't. That's the whole point of you guys. Get that stuff going. And we're aware that nothing is ever perfect. But the striving for unity principle was one that I completely felt emotionally attached to, as did most people.
Especially when you set off in your car, you as a family, jolly, like just nip over to Europe and we'll relocate, it was all fine.
Yeah, and it seemed to be all mixed up with, votes against the government. I mean, I do actually know a lot of people. I was sort of surprised how many people I ended up knowing who did vote to exit, but they were stunned that they actually won and didn't want to win. They were doing a protest vote.
Yeah.
They didn't know as well as we didn't know. So there's no point us getting angry with them saying, "Oh, you've ruined it." They didn't know. We didn't. Anyway.
Yeah. Did you manage to vote?
Oh, I didn't in the end. No, I didn't because we were in France. I was like, "Oh, I'll be fine. They'll take care of it." I know. I'm an idiot.
You could have tipped the balance.
It could have been. It's down to me.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, but my wife and I missed it. We have to sign a thing if you're in France.
Yeah, you have to send it in.
Yeah, and we were like, we missed it.
Mate.
Exactly, but that's how everyone felt, and that's why it all went up the. I'm one of the people that ruined it.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
No, there are a lot of, and now I don't know. I read this week whether it's true. There are 500,000 Brits who live abroad now, like yourself, who may have to come back for some. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't know what's going on with that.
No one's knocked on your door and said, "Oi."
No one said, "Get out of here." That's the big negative side, though, isn't it? That it wasn't really a vote. It became a vote about all the wrong things.
Yeah,
and it sort of opened the door to these very nasty, racist little shits that have sort of decided, "Oh, good."
That's what
and then what was funny was I was flying. I remember I was flying the day that the announcement was made. The votes were in. I literally arrived in America when the referendum was announced, so we're all stunned. And I went to a recording session that day with literally hours after with Seth MacFarlane. He's in our film, and he's like, "Oh my God, Brexit! You guys, what were you thinking?" I was like, "Listen, I am one of the people that messed this up. We didn't think this idiot Farage and that, what's his name? What's the Boris." With their stupid claims about this and that, we're going to make it. Now, you have a presidential candidate right now who's kind of in that same league. Learn from us, Seth MacFarlane. Yeah. And he was like, no, totally. And he's very up on these things. He's like, yeah, no, we can't let this happen. But even then, nobody in the room there, nobody in the States thought, he's a nightmare, but he's not going to make it.
Yeah, exactly.
Look what happened.
I know. I flew into New York the night of that. And there were all these people sitting around, and I was going, oh my God. It
was like a death in California. It was like, I arrived the day of that announcement. I don't know why I keep arriving on announcement days. I swear to God, I've actually got photographs on my camera of the TV at the airport going, and this sort of solemn face, people standing with their jaws on the floor and their luggage either side of them, just unable to accept the fact that Donald bloody Trump.
You made a movie about... Well, I suppose it is. I don't know if it's about animals, but I mean, it's very,
Well, it embraces, and it embraces diversity, and it embraces not only is it a whole, every kind of genre of music, but it's all different characters that are human caricatures, really. It's the most, yeah. I mean, not that pigs are getting off with dogs or anything like. It's not revolting. They all stay with.
That would be revolting.
Yeah. You don't want to go that route with an animal movie. You just don't. You don't want to. You can like other animals, but you don't want antelopes breeding with peacocks. You don't. It's not. Is that?
I mean, did the makers of Zootopia and Zootropolis also? I think they're the same movie.
Yeah.
Did you all sit around and kind of go, "No, we're not having any"?
We didn't know that they were making that film.
Right.
This is the only problem with animation, right? You spend 5 years making this thing. You're 3 years in, and then you find out Zootopia's coming out, and you're like, you're joking. What is that then? So you have a look and like, oh, they're all walking around, they're animals in the city, and you start thinking, oh, great. Yeah. Then I saw it, I was like, oh, it's fine. It's
totally different.
Yeah. And I just want to see a film that's good. I want somebody to tell me it's good. I won't say, oh, I've seen one sci-fi film this year. I'm not going to see another one. I just want to hear if it's great.
Yeah, I think those are pretty different.
Oh yeah,
apart from you live in there.
And I met those two directors, the nicest people ever, and the whole agenda was totally different to ours. But though we never. We didn't ever meet up for we're doing an animal movie. What's the deal here? We all got to agree on certain things.
You can have the sloths. I'm not doing sloths.
I'm not doing, you can have those. We got some deer, but they're going to be pretty much deep background. You're going to be okay with that. No, they were great, but they probably came up against the same questions we had, which is, it's okay. Their film again, well, very much based on this whole idea of diversity, but of course they still have these limits because you can't have a fox getting off with a rabbit. You can't, really, if you're going to say that families exist here. It's one thing with Pepe Le Pew, it's another thing when you're saying this is a real environment with real families and consequences. You can't do it.
No. I don't think it does. It doesn't happen, does it?
No, I think the animal world's pretty much sussed out where the boundaries are.
Yeah.
Yeah, every now and then, though, someone's dog will try and hump a human leg.
There
are moments where dogs are idiots, and they're the only ones who haven't got the memo. Yeah.
I never really thought about it, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So it's okay to make a film about diversity, but of course, then again, that it doesn't really work.
And again, with humans, you can't have them getting off with animals as well. That's not in your family.
No,
film.
It's amazing how we've descended into one of the most appalling topics you could possibly raise. We've got into bestiality. Anyway, no, but it was
singing competition.
Yeah, yeah. But in the wake of the Trump thing, it feels kind of even more important to be joyful and tell stories about things where people do get on and do try and
is that why you did sing? I mean, 5 years ago, it's very hard to judge a mood, isn't it? You sort of say, I'm going to capture a zeitgeist 5 years down the line.
Also, I don't think we were trying to capture a zeitgeist. As far as singing competitions go, the zeitgeist had well and truly moved on, don't you think? I mean, they're
still doing them.
They're still good doing them, but there's a difference between popularity and zeitgeist. There's that, like you'd say, like now, La La Land has hit the zeitgeist. It's just come at the right time. It's the right thing, and everything. It's great, and it's the zeitgeist. I'd say singing competitions were just really popular, and I just loved the opportunity to see characters, regular folks, go through that life-changing experience. Like that. We talked when I first met Chris Meledandri about this. We were talking about films like The Commitments. When you've got a film where the music is in the film, it's not like they burst into song, and the music is the escape for those characters, or it's that means to connect with that part of themselves that's dormant or otherwise denied by something, and that was the attraction. That was like, oh man. That, and also following multiple characters, rather than it just be about one little elephant that was shy and is going to, or like a mum that's going to escape her humdrum life and be a pop star. People are thumbing us up here. It was like, let's follow multiple characters and see their lives get turned upside down, smashed, humiliated, and then finally, hopefully, come out redeemed on the other side.
Did you want to do that? Do you want to be in X Factor?
No, I'd hate it. I couldn't even walk out in front of those people and do that initial.
Really? Even though that's one of his storylines?
Yeah, no. I can do it for my own film. I can walk out and talk to anyone, but to just get up and sing, Toto's Africa or something, I no. I don't know why I went straight to Toto's Africa.
It's a tune.
It is a tune. Never do it at karaoke though. Have you ever done?
It goes too high.
Take it off. Yeah, no, it goes way too high in the middle, and you can't sustain it, and it's not even funny.
Yeah, exactly. Never do Stevie Wonder's lately either. The key change will get you.